Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome back to my Needy Duplicate series in Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I put in these volcano tamers. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all pretty much the same design. It's just that this one is mirrored a little bit. But I want to thank this commenter for reminding me that conveyor chutes have an automation input now. Back in my day, that wasn't a thing. So this conveyor shutoff is irrelevant now, so I can take that out on all of these and simplify the build a little bit. I also ran into a little bit of a sour gas problem between episodes. I was digging through some abyssalite over here and I didn't check the temperature first, so a lot of my crude oil boiled into petroleum and sour gas. And so this caused a pressure cascade that plugged up the oil refineries, and then I ran out of power because I wasn't making petroleum, so I had to put in some emergency coal generators. But I've thrown in these gas pumps here with some filters. So I'm putting the natural gas just into these generators, and I'm throwing everything else out into just the general base area, because I had to get power going. So all of this sour gas is just stuck here now. So what I need to get done in this episode, I'm going to make some more space down here at the bottom of the map, just to give the sour gas somewhere to go. So I'll start by just running some ladders across here, and issuing a whole bunch of dig commands. I think I'm just going to plow straight through this biome as well. Alright, and that'll keep the dupes busy for a while. Now, I did explore a little bit more of the map between episodes while I was making tons and tons of sour gas. So there's a lot of exposed geysers now. There's this one here. I want to go check out what that is. There's this one here, and then there is this polluted water vent here. I also found this one here. I need to go see what that is, but not much else. So once I clear out some space for the sour gas, I'd like to dig over to those locations and capture whatever they're outputting. I want to start utilizing all of the geysers on this map, get them sealed up so that they're not just spilling out into the atmosphere and then onto the ground, because I need to get the base cleaned up. These two pumps are doing a good job, but if water keeps flowing down to the bottom, they're never going to catch up. So I need to stop the new incoming water so that I can get the water that's already down here cleaned up. Then maybe in the next episode, I'll do the same thing, but for the generators. I'd like to seal up the petroleum and natural gas generators and stick them with the slickster ranches, rather than have it just expel to the atmosphere. I'm noticing almost every single one of these slicksters are glum. That means they're not being groomed frequently enough. So it might be time to take on another rancher farmer, because right now I've only got Joshua, Marie, and Maya for ranching. I do have 2 open beds here. I can take on 2 more duplicates. I definitely have the oxygen production for it. So in 2.5 cycles, I'll see who I can print. Okay, here we go. How about we take a max to help out with ranching? So you'll be skilled in farming, ranching, and the suit wearing is fine. Let's give you Animal Lover for sure. Let's put some muscles on you with Buff. Green Thumb, you're gonna like plants. And then some Sneakers, Twinkle Toes. You are going to be biohazardous, gonna have a bottomless stomach, and you're gonna be a mouth breather. Alright, I think you are perfect. Let's print you. I want you to focus on farming if I ever have any plants, and then ranching after that. So on my other ranchers here, I've got Joshua doing ranching first, then farming. Maya ranching first, then farming. Marie and Max will be farming first, then ranching. That way I make sure everything is balanced and covered. It looks like the majority of this has been cleared out now. So I want to start working towards some of those geysers that I found. Let's go towards this one first. So I'll dig this out. And make sure not to dig that tile. I'll come over to this side. And maybe get a ladder. Oh, about here is probably fine. I'll dig this one out. And I will dig this one out. And then I'll also get up to this geyser as well. Buried object discovered. What are you? Ah, polluted water vent. Well, I can uncover you, and I'll have Rowan analyze that. I guess I can start thinking about how I want to capture this. So I need 1 tile for the automation, and then 2 tiles for the pump. What are you? Looks like an iron volcano. Okay. Well, I do have a nicely designed tamer build that I could just stick right on top of that. Alright, now that this is analyzed, I can see its average output is about 3 kilos a second. This one down here is just about 3 kilos a second as well. Want to get this one analyzed and check its average output. Alright, here we go. Rowan's about to finish this. And this produces just over 3 kilos. So between these three, that polluted water vent, that polluted water vent, and that polluted water vent, I get just over 9 kilos. That's basically a constant pipe of polluted water. So it might be time to put in a separate tank for that. Because I've got my clean water tank here. So I could put in a polluted water tank right here, and it would dodge the hydrogen vent, and it would be exactly the same size. So this is 24, and this one is 24. I think it makes more sense to store polluted water. It seems more valuable than clean water. At least to me. I could always turn polluted water into clean water, but it's harder to turn clean water back into polluted water. So for arbor trees and thimblereeds, if I want to do domestic plants, then I would have to turn my clean water into polluted water somehow. Or I could just store all of my water as polluted water, and then turn that into clean water wherever I need it. So I'll sketch out a tank for this side. And this might end up being temporary. But I'd like to use this space for now. And store up some polluted water. Because then I wouldn't need these water sieves here. I could just store all of my polluted water, send the clean water straight into this tank. And then I would only need the desalinators to desalinate all of the salty water. Oh, and I should go and capture this geyser. I've been neglecting this one. And then I also have this saltwater geyser here. So if I pump all of my polluted water into this tank, yeah, I will be getting less clean water because I'm not running it through the sieves, but I can then run the salty water through the desalinators instead. So it's just more water. There's always so much to do, but never enough duplicants to do it. Now that this is almost done, I think I can start planning out the piping. So I could just go straight through the clean water. I think it would be better if I went around it, though. This needs to get over to this side. And then I could just dump it off. Maybe at that height there. This one needs to come down around. Oh, and zigzag a little bit. There we go. And then it could just go into the slot here. So this one will come up and over and go to the next one. And now that I have this tank, I don't need to send any of this polluted water over to... Well, I guess I do need a couple thimble reeds. But I can just supply those from a pump now. Yeah, okay, so all of my polluted water will run down instead. Oh, it's a mess up here. So I'll take this pipe and just dump it out here. I'll flip the direction on this bridge and route all of the water down from the bathrooms and showers and from the carbon skimmers here. Everything can join up in this one tank, and then I can supply the thimble reeds from their own dedicated pump down here. I think having separate water tanks for each water type is the way to go. Except for salty water. There's only like one thing that uses it, and that is the water weed. But really you only use these for lettuce, and lettuce is used for frostburgers. But the amount of lettuce needed for frostburgers is so tiny that it's just better to ranch or to farm water weeds wild. They take up almost no space, so it's not worth the hassle trying to domesticate them. So I'm going to combine all of my salty geysers, so this one and this one together, process it into clean water, and then put that in the clean water tank. And then polluted water will be its own separate tank over here. So this geyser, I'm going to seal up in almost the exact same way. Nope, this is going to be the exact same way. No reason to change something that's working. This one I'll be able to create a vacuum in, because it's salt water. It doesn't off-gas. It's exactly how I did this one here. I just let it fill up to the 2 tiles high, and then put a top over it. Can't do the same thing with polluted water, though, because it will always off-gas, so stuck with polluted oxygen in there. This one should be easier to power, because it's closer to the base already. I could just steal a little bit of power from there. That would work. And then I'll run the pipe out this way. I don't need this legacy pump anymore. I want to combine this with the output of this geyser, because if I just run this straight into a desalinator, it'll break the output pipe, because the brine here is emitted at -10. So when it goes through the desalinator, it'll come out as -10 degree water, which is just ice. So that's not good. I could also just run it through the bottom of this tank with some radiant piping, because there'll always be some warmth in here it could pick up before then being routed to the desalinators. And I think that might be the easiest way of doing this, at least for the moment. So I'll run this underneath the volcano, just down this ladder. That means this pipe is in the way. Through the bottom here, just out of lead is fine. I'll run the brine. Then I think it can share that input with this geyser here. No, can't do that. That one isn't filtered, that just goes straight in. Okay, so it has to be either this pipe or this pipe. Well, that's not exactly convenient now, is it? I think I'll come down and then go across all of this. So it will come down here, over, across that, and then plug into that and that. Then it will have priority. Ah, I'm getting backflow. Okay, let's try the other way. If I go this way. Okay, there we go. I am tempted to round off my duplicate count to 20. I think I'll take another builder. Let's reroll you a few times. Let's take an Abe. You'll be building, operating, and supplying. Grease Monkey, good, already got that. Let's do Buff, Handy, and Twinkle Toes. I think you've seen me make this type of a duplicate many times now. Alright, we'll print Abe. And I just got an achievement. Have at least 20 living duplicates. Okay, nice. Now I need to get into this geyser. I need to be careful how I go about that. I don't want to drop all of this salt water onto my base. That would be bad. And I'd prefer my duplicates to be in Atmo suits for this. So I'm just going to extend this ladder up here. And come in from the side. It is going to take them quite a long time to finish this ladder, because they have to do it all in sequence. So maybe in the meantime, I get some extra hands on this natural gas geyser here. This has been here for a very long time, but I haven't been using it. It's just sitting here going to waste. And I'd like to pump that down into these, just for some free power. And then I also remember there being a geyser... Yeah, here it is. There's another natural gas geyser. So I'll also get up towards this one. That way I can get all of these projects done in parallel, rather than just waiting for them to go through this one by one. If I am going to be expanding natural gas, though, I should probably put in a few more of these. And then I'll get in a smart battery, so that I can control them with some reservoirs. Okay, let's get this cleaned up. I'll try and make this as straightforward as possible here. Just fit in a gas pump with a atmo sensor. Like that. Nice and simple. And for power, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to steal some from here. Then I need to plan out the piping route, and I think I'm just going to follow the ladders to about... I guess here's fine. And then I'll just connect into the main line there, and drag that down. This needs to all switch over to insulated piping, because it's going to come out of this geyser at 150. Well, I've got enough space to see what I'm doing over here now. The fog is gone. I'm going to do exactly what I did over here. Just mirror it, because it's on the other side of the map now. So the wall will be here. And the pump will be on this side. I'm going to run the power wire in a little bit of a weird manner right now. That's just because I know that eventually the power will be coming in from this side. But there's a bunch of crap in the way right now, so for now I'm going to route it around. And just power it off of... I guess this is fine. Could always change that later. And that's the same for the ventilation also. Just gonna follow the same funky path. Down. Gotta jump over that. And then into here. And that'll connect into the other natural gas pipes. Alright, but this one is analyzed. It has an average output of 112. So that's a little bit more than a free generator. Then I'll just let this pump pull a vacuum for now. So if it's ever above 0, just go ahead and turn on. I want to pump everything out just so that there's natural gas in here. And then once it's exclusively natural gas, I'll set it back to work if it's only above 2 kilos. Alright, thank you for your services, Rowan. I'm sure that was not an OSHA-certified work environment. Let's get that sealed up. And hopefully this dartle doesn't wander back in there. Do not want to trap that in there. Oh, that's kind of funny. I guess there's just been a lineage of dartles stuck in this one tile here for the whole game. Alright, but that one is pretty much done now. Just need to wait for all of the piping to get put in. How close are we to... not very. Let's maybe get a bit of a hustle going on this, Dupes. Once I get this tapped, there is one more thing I'd like to do. This open vent here has been bugging me for a while. It's doing two things that I don't like. It's outputting heat into the environment, and it's making my floors really messy. I've been putting off capturing this, but I think in the spirit of capturing geysers this episode, I should really get this done. Okay, nice. We broke in over here. So this is going to point towards the center still. So I'll get automation there. pump there. So for now, I'll just route the piping like this. But in the future, it'll go towards the center and then just down the main bus. I think for power, I'm still just going to steal it off of that transformer. And then that should be a nice source of more salt water. I noticed this started working now. So they must have gotten that all connected up while I was working with the saltwater geyser. But now that I have 4 sources of natural gas, I need to change some of the priorities on these batteries. So the primary source of power will be the steam turbines connected to the volcanoes. There's no automation on that. Same with the hydrogen generators. I need to make sure that I'm consuming the hydrogen so that it doesn't back up into the oxygen. So there's no batteries on that. Then if I still need more power, which I probably will, I'll turn on the natural gas generators. So if power ever drops below 75%, go ahead and turn on. But once you bring power back up to 90%, go ahead and turn off. Then for the petroleum generators, if power ever gets to, 50, turn on and turn back up. And turn back off at 95. Let's do 95 on this one as well. Then the coal generators, if power ever gets to 25%, go ahead and turn back on. But I want these to turn off sooner, so they'll turn off at 50%, not 95. So it should be free power first, then hydrogen, then natural gas, then petroleum. And if all of that fails, then coal. And the last thing I want to get done in this episode is sealing up this cool steam vent. So I'll get all of this out of the way. I need the wall to be as far left as possible to give me as much space through here for piping. And there's 2 ways I can do this. I can either heat up the steam so that it can go through a turbine, or cool it down and pump it out with a liquid pump. I could also geotune it. That would bring steam temperature up to turbine threshold. But I don't want this system to rely on geotuning in case there's ever some downtime, because then the whole system will lock up. So I think I'm going to go with the cooling down method. Sure, it takes a little bit of power, but power is not a problem anymore. So I'll just get in a pump, I guess. Here's fine. And then I do need some room for automation. So the minimum room size looks to be about that. I'll put drywall around the perimeter, and then get in some shift plates in the center. The steam turbine, I guess, could go up here. And then the aqua tuner just below that. And then this gives me a little bit of space for a power transformer. And I could even still fit in one of these if I put the wall right here. Alright, let's figure out the cooling loop here. So, I'm gonna need... I think I'll come in like that. Then I can run some radiant piping around here. Back to insulated. Well, I want to make sure I get close to the transformer. So maybe Something more like this would be better. Because then I can put the bridge here to get the output of the steam turbine back into this room. And then I can't forget about the buffer. And I think to get liquid out, I'll just jump over like that. Then I think I'll just route power like this, just to keep things hidden in the walls. So if this hydro sensor ever gets above 500 kilos, I want to start pumping out the water. If this thermo sensor ever gets above... Well, I don't have to set this very low. I could just say like 80. All I need is for the steam to condense into water. I don't need to actually cool the water. I think now I just need to get a vacuum in here to get all of the sour gas out. So I'll drop a little blob of crude oil here and make a liquid lock. I was hoping the steam pressure would push all of the sour gas out, but it needs a little bit of help. Almost there, and sour gas is gone. Beautiful. So I don't need these pumps anymore. I can get this sealed back up. And I think the last step is just getting some polluted water into here. Well, I have a whole bunch of polluted water here, but I don't know how I'm going to get it through all of this piping. I think I'll steal it from this pipe here. Because this geyser happens to be active right now. Alright, I think that's it. I'll go ahead and seal that up. And if I look at the average output here, this is only 1.3 kilos. And the average output here is just over 3 kilos. So theoretically, these could share a pipe. Alright, I really like the fact that this is not open to the atmosphere anymore. That had been bugging me for a very long time. I don't think I'm going to have time to get to the sour gas problem. I'll have to fix that between episodes. But I got a lot of really good geysers captured now, and I'm making a ton of water. So I've got 2 saltwater geysers, well, I guess brine and saltwater. I've got 1, 2, 3 polluted water geysers. And then these 2 basic water geysers. This whole contraption just turns this steam vent into a water geyser. I have a second tank now, and this one will be only for polluted water. I'm going to combine the salt and regular water into a single tank. So all salt water will be processed into clean water, but polluted water will just stay as polluted water, because there's a lot of things that need polluted water. Thimble reeds, pinch of pepper nuts, arbor trees. And it's easier to turn polluted water into clean water if I need more clean water than it is to turn clean water into polluted water if I need more polluted water. I almost forgot about this geyser here. I'll put another metal volcano tamer on that. You don't need to watch me build a 5th one, that's what the entire last episode was about. And now that I have access to all this polluted water, I really think it's a good idea to go into domestic arbor trees, so I can get wood, turn it into ethanol. That gives me CO2 that I can feed to my slicksters, and then I can burn the ethanol in petroleum generators to get even more CO2. I'd have to figure out how that balances with pips, because pips can eat some of the tree growth. And then I can take the output from the pips and feed it to the sage hatches. So from polluted water, I can get power and food. I'm also thinking about moving all of these natural gas generators. Now that I have so many natural gas geysers captured, I think it's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. I'm going to be getting a lot of excess natural gas, and I don't want these to just output onto the floor, right? I want to keep this floor nice and clean. So along with getting the petroleum generators into a box with all of the ethanol distilling processes, I need to get these natural gas generators into their own box. But that'll be my first major project in this series, I think. Because this map is so large, it's slowing me down a little bit. Can't quite get to the fun stuff yet. So I am really looking forward to designing all of that in the next episode. It'll probably be similar to the tree farm I made for the Overly Science series, but I want to incorporate slicksters this time. But I'm pretty low on time now. It seems like a good place to end this episode, so I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.